All right, we continue with Vice President of our great country, JD Vance. New book is out. Take a look. It's called Communion, Finding My Way Back to Faith. Okay, so I got a copy of the book. Sorry about my laryngitis.
Sure.
And I've been reading it cover to cover. This is not a typical politician's book. This is not I'm running in 28. I can tell you that. It's very raw. It talks about your faith journey, your tough upbringing, and how you've come back to your faith.
That's right.
I think it's the most important thing in my, well, I don't think, it is the most important thing in my life. This is a really personal story with a lot of admission of things that you think you did wrong.
Sure. Yeah, I just want to be honest, because I think any book about a person's relationship with God, that's the heavy stuff, right? You can't write a story without being honest about your own failings, about your own faults. You know, the thing that I write about is I got to a point where I was so obsessed with just getting ahead. You know, I was calling myself an atheist. I had this arrogance about my own reason, about my own rationality, and I just wanted to get the best job. I wanted to go to the best schools. I wanted to get the most prestigious and the best credentials that I could. And I kind of hit this point in my 20s where I was like, wait a second, am I actually becoming a better person because of this? And I realized, no, actually I'm becoming a worse person. And that started to get me down this pathway to thinking, okay, well, I just, fallen in love with the woman who's now the second lady of the United States. And we've got a fourth baby coming, so appreciate the prayers of your audience on that. And what I cared about was being a good husband, being a good dad, frankly, casting aside some of the demons of my own youth and the way that I was raised. I wanted my kids to have a more stable and a different upbringing. And that kept on bringing me back to this question of the people that I knew that were the most kind, that were the most gracious, that were the happiest in sort of a deep sense, whether they were rich or poor, they were the Christians in my life. And I started to think to myself, if these Christians have it figured out, maybe they have it figured out at a deeper level. And that got me to re-engage with my faith in a very new and profound way. And that's ultimately what led me to get baptized in 2019. And we take our kids to church every Sunday. And even when I was raised by my very devoutly Christian grandmother, we weren't like church every Sunday type people. We watched TBN, we watched televangelists. But it's interesting how, I think God, we all find our own pathway to God. And I don't think that I would have it any other way.
It became controversial when you said that you hoped that your wife, who is Hindu, that she would convert to the same faith. And that became a controversy. And I'm like, I don't think that's controversial at all.
Yeah, it's just an observation. Yeah. When you believe something, and I believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and that it really influences everything else about me, then of course you want the people that you love to share that perspective as well. It doesn't mean I don't respect my wife. I mean, she's a brilliant person. As I write about in the book, a lot of my own journey back to faith, she supported. Even though she didn't necessarily see things the same way that I do, she really inspired my own journey back to faith. And so I think it's just a totally normal thing for a husband to want his wife to agree with him on some of these issues. But, the best conversations I've had about faith, about religion, about theology have been with Usha, because she does come at these things from a different perspective. I've learned a lot from her. I think she's learned a lot from me. And that's one of the great things about being married to a person like her.
How did your life, you are the unlikeliest person.
I know, it's crazy.
To be 41 years old, the vice president of our great country, starting in Appalachia, dirt poor, abusive family, an addicted mom, a devout grandmother that took you under her wing.
Yeah.
And then every door opened up to the point where you did spend time, you served your country, you went to Ohio State, you went to Yale Law, and then you run for Senate.
Sure.
Now you're the vice president.
It's crazy.
Well, if you listen to the left, they say you're not successful, you didn't do that on your own.
Well, the grace of God, a little bit of luck, a lot of family support along the way, and the grace of God is why I'm sitting here today. And this is one of the great things about our country is people really can come. I'm not saying it's not always hard. There are a lot of difficulties along the way, but I really do believe that our country remains the kind of place where if you work hard, you play by the rules, you get a little bit lucky along the way, and you have the grace of God at your side, you can accomplish amazing things. And, I think I keep coming back to this. I go back to the Christians who were very influential to me. they always had this spirit of gratitude. And that's one of the things that I try to have in my life in public service. I have it with my family, with my kids, is if you feel grateful for the things that you have, you will be a much better person. You'll be a much better husband and father, but I think you'll be a better public servant too.
I get into this argument with President Trump. I'm not sure if I'm going to heaven. I said, John 3:16, God so loved the world, he sent his only begotten son. And it's funny because he has his own spiritual side.
He does.
When you think of your background, and as I was reading the book, and it's so different than President Trump in many ways. However, your relationship is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And you even attacked him in 2020.
Well, in 2016.
2016.
But what is interesting about President Trump is he doesn't wear it on his sleeve, but he is a person of faith. And he does, like all of us, I think about these very deep questions. Where do we come from? Where are we going? And, fundamentally, I think the president, he recognizes that some of the people who have been best to him, who have been critical parts of him getting to the presidency now 2 times, arguably 3 times, they were Christians. And it's funny because if you go back to 2016, when you're right, I was criticizing him. One of the things that was very profound was this connection between religious conservatives and Donald J. Trump. And everybody said, well, they didn't get it. They didn't understand how this, brash New York billionaire could have such connection to Christian conservatives in the heartland. And I actually think if you know the Christian conservatives and you know the president, it's not all that bizarre at all. Because the thing I've always found about Christians in the heartland, whether you agree with their politics, and there's a whole diversity of opinions on a whole host of issues, they're the most welcoming people in the world. They don't judge you based on superficial characteristics. They actually care about what's on the inside. And that's, again, one of the great lessons, one of the great examples of Christianity.
I will tell you, without faith in my life, I don't have a life.
Me neither.
And I believe I've lived an undeserved life in many ways. I think the real prayer, I know the baby's going to be fine, congratulations, is you going on The View. What the heck were you thinking? I don't know. You have your press team over here. I'm like, who made that brilliant choice? I don't know.
The president, his attitude, my attitude is you go everywhere. You try to take the message everywhere, but yes, I very much need everyone's prayers before I go on The View. It's going to be interesting.
Congrats on the baby. Congrats on the book.
Thanks, man. Good to see you.
We appreciate you spending time. All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.